Hi everyone, I hope that you're well, and as a little lockdown bonus, I'm going to take you back to July last year when me and one of my mates went out to shoot something for Patreon. Bear in mind at this point neither of us had a clue of what we were doing, but do enjoy the supporting videocast which went along with the Zofia Sadowska case. We've since done 3 more, but hopefully this will give you a better reference as to some of the key parts in where the case took place. Take care everyone, and I hope you enjoy.
You're watching the True Crime Fix Videocast with your host, Steve.
Steve here, and welcome to the first ever True Crime Fix videocast. Basically, this is for my Patreon members. This is a video to kind of show you around certain aspects of a crime scene. And today we're going to go back to episode 1. We're going to go back to Zofia. So we are at my hometown of High Wycombe. As you can see in the background here, I'm going to get out of the way to not ruin the views. The fantastic view from West Wycombe Hill over the town. That's West Wycombe Road down there, leads straight into the town centre, which you can see in the background. And then behind us, we've got the mausoleum of Sir Francis Dashwood, where him and his family are buried. There is actually an urn in the middle of that mausoleum, and the rumour has it that Francis Dashwood, his heart, was actually in that urn, but it was stolen, and there's actually rumours of a haunting in Hellfire Caves down below us. But that's not the real reason we're here. The real reason we're here is that I'm going to show you around the areas that are in relation to the murder of Zofia Sadowska. As we know from the podcast, this is an accompanying bit. It is also to be done with episode 1 of the podcast. As we know, Zofia, she was born in 1995 in Warsaw in Poland. She had a 3-year-old child, and she came over to High Wycombe, and she was a leaflet distributor. She was brutally murdered by Arsene Hassan, but as I say, if you've listened to the episode, then you're more than aware of that. So this is an accompanying piece so that you can see the areas that are in relation to this case. Now, I'm not an expert at taking documentaries, and I know that the guy behind the camera has definitely never held a camera, not for this purpose before anyway. So please bear with us whilst we try and show you the important parts of this story. On Tuesday the 6th of September 2016, Zofia and Petri, who was the friend of her current partner Camille, they'd just been to the cinema, just where that Marks and Spencer's is, just the other side of there. So they'd been to the cinema, and then what they decided they were going to do was they were going to go for a drink. So what they did was, took a walk along here. This small path would then lead them into Wycombe Town Centre. So what we're going to do, we're going to show you the route that they were going to take. So they'd have walked along here, not knowing, of course, that somebody that actually knew their plans for the night. Because Arsene Hassan had plans to sit and watch Zofia have fun in the Yates just round the corner here. Zofia would be dancing and drinking till about 2 o'clock in the morning, and she didn't realise that Hassan was actually there. He's caught on CCTV a bit later on in the night, just watching them. And obviously the thing in the podcast about what he was wearing, the Public Enemy No. 1 t-shirt. And what they did was, they went to Yates's which is just there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just take a brief walk through, and I can show you then what Zofia's plans were for the rest of the night. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, she's had a few to drink, as anybody would on a student night out, and she's walked out of Yates's front door. And as you'll see when we come round the corner in a minute, there's a massive area just for seating and just a nice place to sit when you're having some food and stuff. So obviously she's come out of the front of the Aces, and she's taken a walk down here. And at the end of the road, down by where Admirals is, there's a kebab house. I'm going to take you down there in a minute. But the main thing is that she's had a kebab at Dennis's, and what she's done is, you may see some people on this nice day actually sitting out in this park area. So what they've done is they've gone and got their kebab middle of November, so it's not exactly a really warm night to go and sit out, but I suppose if you're wearing your beer jacket you don't really notice the cold. So what they've done is they've decided that they're going to do. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Is they're going to go and park over. They're going to go and sit themselves over on the benches just over there. But what they didn't know was that Hassan was actually hiding behind the bins, watching them eat their kebab. So what I'm going to do now, make sure I don't get run over. So if you turn now, and you can see park benches in the bin that he would have sat behind. And if we go this way a little bit more, once again, right over. It's crazy to think that all of this happened so close to us. It's absolutely crazy. And then as we go around this corner here, we can pan ourselves now to Dennis's Kebabs. So what we got is, they came out of Dennis's, and they literally just walked across to where the benches are, and we were hiding behind the bins watching them eat. On the 9th of September, Hassan had followed Zofia to the Crown Plaza Hotel in Marlow. It's believed at this hotel it's where he snapped. The reason being, he saw her entering this hotel here with another man. The issue being that that other man was his childhood friend, Uzma Ansar. Okay, so as you can see behind me, this building here with a massive C on it, this was the actual Dennis's Kebabs, where Arsan lured Zofia on the promise of a birthday party on Sunday the 18th of September 2016. He lured her here with the promise that his friend Rob, who was the fictional best friend that he managed to get the SIM card and got promised that he was going to take her from this kebab house to a party. But really he had other plans, because in this building behind us, that's where poor Zofia was murdered. What happened was, so Arsan got her into that building, and he already has in there cling film, duct tape, his murder kit basically. And because of everything that's been going on and the fact that he snapped, he has taken her in there, smothered her with the cling film, and basically she's met her end. So yeah, as I say, it's kind of a bit surreal. It's kind of a bit surreal when you actually see the place, and the C on the building is still from where the police have marked it off as a crime scene. So what happened was Arsan killed Zofia in that building, and then basically decided that he was going to call a taxi. When he called the taxi came to pick him up, and he carried Zofia's limp body, obviously because she'd already been killed, from that front door into the taxi, which would have been waiting in the same service road that we're waiting in, and convinced the taxi driver that she was asleep, that she was drunk, she had passed out drunk. It's just crazy, as I say, just to be here, it's just crazy. I just want to show you briefly how far he had to carry the body. So this is where the kebab house was. Obviously, nobody's taken it over since what's happened. And then this is the service road where the taxi would have stopped. And he would have carried her body and just placed it into a back seat. Drunk, but really dead. So we're now going to take the same journey that the taxi took to take the body of Zofia and Arsan back to his house in Wickham. Now I've just put it into my Waze, and as you can see here, it's approximately a 4-mile journey, and it's going to take us about 12 minutes. So that's how long that taxi had a dead body in their car without actually realising it. It's crazy, really. So now on the route that took Arsan and Zofia back to Arsan's house. As you've just seen on the Waze, it was a 12-minute journey. So you've kind of got to appreciate the fact that a taxi driver didn't realise that he had a dead body in his taxi for 12 minutes. Or the question is, did he know that he had a dead body and he was paid off? That was obviously not in any of the reports. But the question is, what do we know about Hassan? Hassan came to England in 2011. He was originally from the Punjab region in Pakistan, and he came to England to learn English. 2013 he moved to High Wycombe, and he worked at that kebab house that we've literally just come from. That was at one point Dennis's Kebabs. He was friends with the owner, so he had the keys to the property. That's how he managed to get him whilst the place was still being refurbished. He was married before. He met a lady by the name of Victoria, who he got married to, and I believe it was when he was in London, and she divorced him and broke up with him when she got pregnant by another man, and that was in 2014. So the question that I would ask now is, was that the whole reason that Hassan felt distrust for women? He'd been cheated on, and as I said in the podcast, he was very controlling of Zofia. What you've got to remember as well is the fact that this wasn't actually Zofia's proper relationship per se. She was still in a relationship with Camille, who was the father of her child. She had a 3-year-old child, and this is the annoying thing with regards to the reporting of this case. A lot of the reporting that came out was mainly from the Bucks Free Press, and in the Bucks Free Press it was very cagey about who Zofia was in relationships with, when and where. And I know, as I said in the podcast, that it's her private personal business. You know, where have we got to be, or what right have we got to delve into what her relationship status was and who she was in a relationship with. But the way I think it was reported in the media made her sound... It made her sound almost as if the fact that she was playing off guys made it sound as if they were trying to make it a little bit about being her fault, despite the fact of what she'd actually done. But that's just my opinion. It's not documented anywhere, but obviously, as I say, that's just my opinion. So we've just got out of the car for a bit because it's absolutely baking here in High Wycombe today. We're now on Dashwood Avenue, which is where obviously Arsana San and Zofia were, I'll say found, because that's how the police found them. But it was Monday the 20th of September 2016, and Thames Valley Police received a phone call approximately 5:30 in the morning to say that a man had attempted to take his own life and that there was an unresponsive female in the property as well. The police arrived at the property and obviously found the body of Zofia, and Arsana San had very deep lacerations on his arms. He was taken to hospital and survived, but obviously poor Zofia wasn't as lucky, and she was pronounced dead on the scene. Upon going back to the police station, Hassan was arrested for the murder of Zofia. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick drive along Dashwood Avenue to see if we can locate the property that he was in. So I think as we come along Dashwood Avenue, it's that one there, next to the hearse sign there. Just there, mind the bus. Having been charged with the murder of Zofia, the trial of Arsana San took place here at Reading Crown Court on the 23rd of March 2017. Judge Joanna Katz was the one who was presiding over the trial. Hassan, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter of Zofia because he still wanted to say that it was a failed suicide pact between him and Zofia. The issue was that there was still the evidence from Anna Zavloka with regards to the fact that Arsana Hassan had been, shall we say, domineering and trying to control Zofia's life. Usman Ansar also stood trial with Hassan. Ansar was standing trial for basically getting in the way of the police investigation. The claim was that Ansar felt guilty about the fact that he had had sexual relations with Zofia. Once again, whether or not this is true, nobody knows. Ansar, on one hand, was found not guilty, but Hassan was found guilty of murdering Zofia and was sentenced to 23 years in jail. That means that he will not be out until at least 2040. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed our first little video cast, and this is going to be hopefully once a month thing. If you liked it, please leave a comment. If there's anything we can improve, please leave a comment. But for now, this has been Steve, saying see you later.